One thing you should know about me is that creating my own original characters is one of the greatest pleasures in life for me. Whether they're a new love interest to fulfill a fictosexual fantasy, or simply a representation of what I would look like in a different universe, I really pour my heart and soul into every character that I create. All of these characters stem from a desire to live in a reality unlike my own. And usually this reality is a familiar place, like a favorite video game or anime. But I've decided to challenge myself. I am going to make original characters for fandoms that I have never been in or rarely interacted with. And I'll take you through the step-by-step process of designing each one. So for this project, I tried to do the bare minimum of research. I tried my best not to look up stuff from the fandom only if I'm really confused. So I'm just relying on passing knowledge and from friends who have been into these things. So I'm trying to make them as realistic as in what a real fan of these things would make an original character like as possible within the bounds of my limited knowledge. Let's see where this takes us. I feel like Undertale is one of those things that's unavoidable. You're going to someday cross paths with it or just be aware of its existence at all. You have the memes, you have the characters that all the kids love to draw, you have the Sans fangirls, which in retrospect is really problematic to make fun of children in that way. I think one of the things that everyone universally loves about this game is its soundtrack, and I agree, it's iconic. And music is a really good segue for our first character. I love fantasy settings like this where there's so many races of magical creatures to choose from. I've always been quite fond of the Temmies, but skeleton OCs seem to be the popular choice, so that's what we're going with. Sans is one of the Undertale characters I'm probably most familiar with, so I decided to use him as a jumping off point for this character. I think what inspired me the most here is that hellish looking game mechanic where you have to guide the little heart through all the obstacles. Some of the boss fight gameplays kind of made me think of laser light shows and rock concerts, which was my aha moment. So here is Impact in all of his rockin' glory. I know a lot of people don't like neon and bright colors on OCs, but I love them. Plus, I was kind of going for an 80s, 90s vibe with his design, sort of inspired by Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. So what's his deal? Well, Impact is a skeleton musician that travels all over the world. He's super famous. Just like most real-world celebrities, Impact is rude and selfish. He only wants a solo career, never wants to collaborate with anyone, and sees himself as above the general public. Where his story goes from here is up to you, depending on whether you're pacifist or genocidal. If you're doing the pacifist route, you'll round up monsters from all over the map who want to make music but are really insecure about their abilities. Under your guidance, the band becomes the new hit sensation, all the while teaching Impact an important lesson about the value of teamwork. If you choose genocide, you'll first meet Impact at a charity concert he's performing at to help homeless monsters who have lost their family. He'll notice there's a filthy human in his audience, monologue for a bit, and then challenge you to an awesome fight with awesome lasers. With this hot steaming pile of awesomeness in front of you, let's move on to our next character. I've loved collecting rocks and pretty gemstones ever since I was a little girl, so I knew this one was going to be fun. The premise is simple. Take a gemstone you like, make it into a person, there, easy. But my favorite gem, Amethyst, is already a character in the show. And then I was like, well, the character's name is just Amethyst. It doesn't account for all the varieties of amethysts you find in the real world. So I looked at my real amethyst for inspiration. The deep purple, seeping through what is otherwise a fairly light-colored gem, for some reason has always reminded me of, like, when evil takes over the kingdom in a Disney movie. And now, here's Deep Amethyst. What looks to be her hair is actually solid crystal. Her power is to make her hair grow wildly and uncontrollably, to break apart buildings and earth, or to encase people in crystals. Deep Amethyst was once a normal gem who accidentally got buried alive in a mine. When she was finally dug up after a long time, she was ready for vengeance against the world and everything living on it. I never did quite get into this show, but I've seen my friend binge watch it enough times, so I think I got a shot at this. People become animal-themed superheroes. Bats are my favorite animals. Let's make a bat superhero. Oh wait. In the miraculous event that DC Comics didn't sue us, here is Maya Ramirez, superhero name Camazotz, also the name of the Mayan bat deity. Her badge is this bat-shaped bow tie. Her sidekick's this cute little guy named Noche. She can fly! And she fights with a bow and arrow. But with, Nerf arrows, because, this is a show for kids. Camazotz is a goth girl at heart, so she defends her community from metaphorical monsters representing prejudice and ignorance. The only things I know about Homestuck are the stories about people within the fandom and little gray troll people. I think I read somewhere that that's a play on internet trolls, so let's make a troll! And what's the first thing I think of when I hear the word trolling, other than behavior that I would not like to roleplay? That's it! Trolling on video games! And what's that one video game I've been obsessed with recently? You guessed it! Resident Pokemon Showdown! How about this? So, when you're playing Pokemon Showdown and it feels like the RNG is favoring your opponent, right? So what if there was a troll that could control random number generators so he can always get the results he wants? And we're gonna name him Lucky because it's all luck, no skill when you beat him. Bye-bye, my little Hackmons. I hope you enjoyed it. What fandoms should I make characters for next? Comment down below.